All right, beautiful. Hi, everybody. This is Damini Celebrate, or I'm Damini Celebrate, and this is Connect In. Connect In is an opportunity to get out of your twirly head and back into your heart. And although I like to share some tools to help you come back into your heart, this is really about a discussion, like how do you hold your center as you are navigating life? But before I go more into this conversation, let's take a moment and just come into our body. So take a moment and just bring all your awareness to your breath. Invite your breath to come down into your chest, down into your belly, down into your hips. So actually feel the weight of you in your hips. Allow that breath now to come all the way down to your feet and feel where your feet touch the ground. Notice how that shifted you and your body. The way to connect in and to follow our heart is to follow the lead of our body. Our body has so much guidance inside. When we learn to connect in and to trust what's inside our hearts, we no longer have to look outside ourselves for opinions, for that a girl kind of things. We come back in to our own inner guidance. And we do that by just paying attention to where our body, how our body feels. I also like to create a ritual of coming back inside my body when I can. And I do that simply by lighting a candle. And if you don't have a candle, you can just imagine that there's a candle in front of you. And I also like to use a little incense or sage. I find that the more that we engage our senses, the more we come back into the present moment of us. When we are in our twirly head, we are so not in the present moment. So if you just engage your senses right now, just take a moment, feel your feet on the ground, the weight of you on your chair or on the earth. Allow your sense of hearing to open up. What do you hear? Without judgment, just notice. What do you smell? What do you see? Soften your eyes and take in all that's around you. Notice how that changes your body. Or the really simple and short version of this is breath, belly, feet. Bring your awareness to your breath, down into your belly, and to your feet. And miraculously, that will help bring you from your head down into your body. Once you're there, you're connected with your heart and your inner guidance. Beautiful. So I find this coming into your body super important because we are in the re-emerging stage. curiously enough, in acupuncture theory or five-element acupuncture theory, we are in the season of spring. And yes, for most of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is spring. But the action or the energy of spring, according to the five elements, is this kind of up and out kind of action. Right? Winter is all about hibernation, about gathering your resources so that you have all the strength you need to pop through that ground and go, I am a oak tree or a human or a dog or whatever that is. And you know this because we have, people get spring fever. They come up and, people get kind of rammy. This year, it's even more special because we have been in almost a year-long incubation. And so there's two things that I've noticed with folks is that some of us want to stay in this incubation, just want to stay in this really sweet spot that they have gotten into a rhythm of. And some people are like, I got to get out of here now, right? And and then there's everything in between. Like, I'm okay where I am. You are perfectly okay with where you are. What's important is that you hold your center. Like, you hold your energetic integrity as we reemerge out into the world. And that can be challenging. It can be scary for some peeps. It could be a whole range of things. So how do we take care of ourselves as we are re-emerging out into the world? As we're not only being supported by the season of spring with all this kind of upward growth, but how do we actually get supported when society is going, yeah, get out there, do. And some of us are kind of like, no, I don't think so. I'd rather go and hang out in the garden. And so there's this whole range. So I find that when we start getting twirly and we start second guessing ourselves, right, that maybe I should follow the pack, or maybe I'm not a good person, then there's that whole thing about, am I being an imposter to myself? People talk about imposter syndrome, but imposter syndrome is this thing where we can't quite trust where our heart and our body are leading us. And so we put on a facade and we do things that we probably don't really want to do. So how is it for all of you? What are you thinking about re-emerging? You can go ahead and put that in the comments. Yeah, because this is a broadcast. There's something really special about trusting your inner guidance and trusting your instinct, if you will, for self-preservation. In the five element theory of acupuncture, when we were talking about spring earlier, the gift of being able to kind of break through the ground and say I am is the time that you take for yourself to nourish yourself, to build your resources, to have the internal fortitude to break through. And you may know this in other aspects of life, maybe not going through spring, but maybe you are working on a new project or wanting to create a new business, or in a household where you're taking care of everybody and working at the same time, right? What you notice is your being craves more and more and more for internal resources. Yeah, I want to keep hibernating on some level too, and that's okay. So what this is as we reemerge, there's some of us that really still need more time. Yeah, to we still need more time to nourish ourselves. I don't know about you all, but when we went into lockdown, if you will, it was so hard to. I was blown away, honestly, about how busy I made myself. Busy is the badge of courage here in the States, or probably in the modern human age. But busy is really a distraction, don't you think? And so it was remarkable of how I need it, and I've talked to other people about this too, how we need it to untangle the busy to get clear on what we really need. And that is that function of winter, of building resources. And I think on some level, the blessing of the pandemic is that for some of us, we created some time or have some time to kind of catch up and build up our resources again. And, those of you on the call are really saying, yeah, you want more time. You want more time to build your resources, to reflect, right? In acupuncture theory, they talk a lot about the reflection of the heart. And the reflection of the heart is only happens when we come inside and we soften. So to come in and be in hibernation, if you will, to build your resources, to come in and connect in to what your heart holds essential. The process starts with first coming inside, breath, belly, feet, and then learning to trust the body. And so there's this weird little thing, I find it fascinating that there's all these actions that are happening now. There's spring, where this upward and outward energy. There is this re-emerging of nature and ourselves. So in a way, we're totally in sync with what's happening around us. And we're actually being asked to unmask. And unmasking is a fascinating thing. It's this, I don't know about you, but I kind of liked having the mask on and then the glasses and the hat. There was this level of protecting my precious self, if you will. And now, with spring, there's less clothes, there's less um, things to help you cover yourself up. And the masks are being invited to come off. And that can really be a vulnerable place. And by no means am I saying, yes, go through the world without your mask or go through the world with your mask on all the time. You have to do what feels right with you. And you do that, yeah, vulnerable. I find that if I don't have my mask on, I want to put like my readers on or things that kind of keep me a little bit protected. And so keep coming back to breath, belly, feet, keep coming back into ourselves. Like when we're in our head, we're up here. And when we're up here, we're twirling. And when we're up here, we're out of our body. Generally we're kind of up here. And also, if all our energy is up here, we are out of balance because we're not in our body. We're not in this kind of guidance system. There's this really beautiful story about two acupuncture points, and I think this may help with this conversation about being out of balance or in our head. There's a point at the bottom of our feet, right around the balls of our feet. And you may have noticed this in other healing conversations, but a lot of people like to use that point as a center point of grounding. And I read something over the past year about this point not only being a grounding point, but it is the point that tells us, bye-bye. This point tells us when things are coming our way. It's the point that engages our instincts, right? And it's at the bottom of our feet. So if you think about those old stories where uh, we would have our, the old stories where you put your ear on the train line to feel if the train's coming, right? That's a way. So if we put our feet on the ground and we activate this point, then we can actually feel what's coming our way. When we are out of our body and in our head, we don't have access to that innate knowledge that is coming through our body. So I find that to be really curious about this grounding conversation that we are in a lot. The other point that I find really fascinating is up here, actually. And this point is the one that's trying to gather the information from our feet and come up and help us make a plan. So I know I kind of got into a little bit weird acupuncture conversation, but what's fascinating about these 2 points is when they're disconnected, when we can't feel, when we are not in our body and grounded, and we can't feel what's coming our way, then our head up here, the point up here goes, warning, warning, oh my God, what are we going to do? What I call twirly mind, right? And so these 2 points function in unison to keep us in our body and making instinctual, educated, grounded decisions, right? If these 2 points are running separately, then we're just running amok. And really, don't we get like that? Like when we're in our head and we're thinking too much, we start to second guess ourselves. And that second guessing ourselves is that we lost connection with the ground and, more importantly, with ourselves. So as we are in this place of reemerging, of coming back out into the world, my invitation for you, for me, is to, one, really, really trust where your body is guiding you, right? Breath, belly, feet, come into your body. Allow yourself to open up into the present moment by using your senses. Take a moment and just breathe. Notice your breath coming in, right? That happens a lot in meditation practices. But not only noticing your breath, notice what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're feeling against your skin. And then take that a little bit deeper and just notice all the feelings and sensations in your body. Because at that point, you are connected with that point at the bottom of your foot. You are connected with your instincts, with your intuition, with your body wisdom. And when you're connected with this body wisdom, then you know what's right or not right for you. And we do this often all the time. Like way back when we would be walking somewhere unfamiliar, you would have a gut instinct of yes, this is the way I should go, or no, this is the way I should not go. Again, that is your body wisdom connecting in with your heart, with your intuition, to lead you into the way that feels right for you. So as we're beginning to reemerge out into the world again, check into yourself, connect back in by breath, belly, feet, and then ask yourself, does it feel right for me to come out, to reemerge? Or do I honor my vulnerable self? These are really, really important questions for us to keep asking ourselves. And if you want to wear glasses and hats and masks, then you do that. when we can follow the lead of our body and our heart, there's a level of resonance, of empowerment, of truth, of feeling unshakable that will help guide you through any action. Yeah. So take a moment and notice if you've drifted up into your head and started thinking. And take a moment to come down to your breath, into your belly, and down to your feet. This is the starting place. This is the starting place to connecting in, and from here to connect into what your heart holds essential. So I would love to hear your thoughts about reemerging, about how reemerging feels differently when you start from the inside instead of um, creating action from the mind, from our mind. Yeah, beautiful. So thank you so much for joining me. There are tons of Connect-In on my blog at diminicelebri.com. And on the blog, there's actually different kind of exercises and experiences to help you connect in to what your heart holds essential. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and really thank you so much for taking some time and joining me today. Mwah.